Ooh, -4 degrees. Getting her done. So, Kim's running history, part 2. I left off yesterday with junior high school and running 660 yards, which was a lap and a half, and 3 laps, 1,320 yards before the days of metric tracks in America, and went on to high school. And actually, guys, I played every sport. I played basketball, played baseball, I even played football, as small as I was. Soon realized that that wasn't going to be my cup of tea. I wasn't going to make any NFL teams at less than, well, at the time I think most I ever weighed was 90 pounds playing football. So I got into long distance running, cross country, and soon realized that that was something I actually could do with a lot of hard work. I remember that, you saw my ice beard. You've seen many of my ice beards after my morning runs. That type of discipline was built very early. I wasn't met with a lot of enthusiasm running 7 days a week, so my parents pretty much insisted I take Sundays off. So I would get up really early in the morning on Sunday and go for a long run, 3 to 4 miles, and come back home before anyone else woke up, get back into bed as if nothing had ever happened. Yes, it was deceptive, but I was driven. I ran before school as much as 12 miles. I would often run after school, especially my senior year of high school, doubles, 12 in the morning and 5 miles in the afternoon. So well over 100 miles a week, even as a high schooler. So that type of discipline sort of led to a couple of really unique performances. I ran a 2:51:45 marathon at age 16, my first ever attempt at the distance. I had trained specifically for the marathon. I had a coach who would take me out in her car for 20-mile runs and pretty much meet me every mile or two and give me splits and make sure I was doing okay. Also to keep yahoos from attacking me in their cars. My hometown was a very conservative, I'll go ahead and say it, redneck small town in Texas, and they weren't very approving of a little skinny guy in short shorts running at 5 in the morning. So often cars would sort of play chicken with me, which was not very pleasant, a little bit frightening. So for about a 2-week period, my mom actually would drive behind me in the station wagon to make sure no fools killed her son. So that type of discipline and wanting to be a great runner sort of blossomed into the marathoner and now the ultramarathoner that I am today. I remember my early inspirations in running were Steve Prefontaine, the incredible Steve Prefontaine, and Frank Shorter. Watching Frank Shorter win the Olympic marathon in 1972, watching Steve Prefontaine run a gutsy race and not even get a medal in 1972, and then I'll never forget May 30th, 1975, the night of my best friend Ricky McCormick's graduation. We had planned to do a 10-mile run the next morning, and I woke to the news on Paul Harvey News, if you are old enough to remember Paul Harvey, that American distance runner Steve Prefontaine was tragically killed in a one-car accident. And I was stunned. I called Ricky and said, "Ricky, I've got some really bad news." Ricky was a big fan of Prefontaine as well. I said, Pre is dead. He said, "Oh man, you're shitting me. Get over here and let's go for a run." I said, No, seriously. Prefontaine was killed last night." And Ricky was silent for a while, and I said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "You know what we got to do." So I went over to Ricky's house. We ran a 10-mile run. Now, to sort of give you an idea, our 10-mile runs were typically laugh fest. We ran hard, but Ricky was a real jokester, and we would pass the time very quickly with conversation and jokes and laughs and talking about life. But that particular 10-mile run was totally silent. It was eerie. It was surreal. I'll never forget that day. And yeah, Prefontaine, inspiration to many. And a couple of movies have been made about him. Some of you know, most of you know who he is. So that sort of takes me through my high school years. Well, I had a lot of success in cross country, not really in track and field, but I did earn a scholarship to Angelo State University, a small 4-year school in San Angelo, Texas. and took the scholarship, and with some academic scholarship help as well, I was able to finance my first 2 years of college. That will be part 3, the college experience. Hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane. It's not easy for me to talk about myself, and people don't often ask. They see this sort of shell of a runner at almost age 60, and they don't know all that went into that experience of becoming a runner and continuing to run for all these years, literally, as my mom said, since birth, or since I could stand up. My first means of locomotion was running.